All right, now to change things up a little bit, Dr. Stephen Charlap.
A virtual being may someday save your life. For the last few weeks, through a National Science Foundation program, I've been interviewing primary care physicians. This is what they've told me. We don't have time. We don't have time to collect a detailed family history. We don't have time to keep up with expanding knowledge. And even if we did, we wouldn't have time to collect the information and apply the knowledge. Recent studies have substantiated this, but for me it's personal. My older brother might still be alive, even though he was a practicing cardiologist. No doctor ever collected from him a 3-generation family cancer history, nor from me, nor from any family member. Had they would have identified that he was at risk for cancer and might have found the cancer earlier, and he'd still be alive.
Doctors depend on patient-provided information to make medical decisions. Logically, better information leads to better decisions. So why are doctors not collecting important information, such as detailed family medical history that can identify their patient's risk for cancer and other diseases? The answer is simple. It takes too much time, knowledge, and cost to complete a comprehensive patient interview. Now, imagine the perfect medical interviewer, always accessible, infinitely patient, listens well and acknowledges responses, pauses anytime and happy to repeat a question, knows what to ask and when to ask it, uses images to make questions easier to answer, speaks your language, lowers medical costs, smart, engaging, sometimes funny, never judges, and totally free of bias. Stop imagining. Validate is here. Validate is an innovative and enjoyable new way of easily providing your important information to your doctor. Now doctors can get all the information they need to optimize your care.
4 weeks ago, a study showed that if you go to a doctor first thing in the morning, he or she is more likely to refer you for cancer screening than if you go at the end of the day. Doctors are human. They get tired, they're biased, they become less conscientious as the day goes on. 5 years ago, I came across a study where they used a virtual human against a genetic counselor and an online tool to see who collected the best family history. The study was startling for 2 reasons. One, the virtual human was better than the human in collecting a family history. But 2, the human was particularly poor at completing an online form, missing 45% of their relatives in 2 out of 3 cases of breast cancer. That inspired me to try to build a better virtual human that could be as good as a genetic counselor, because there are 220,000 primary care physicians and only 4,000 genetic counselors. And more than 500 million visits are made to primary care physicians each year. So why leave it to the genetic counselor to do that evaluation? So in response, we built Validate, Virtual Agent-Linked Intelligent Disease Assessment Tool Engine. The first of its kind, speech-to-speech conversational agent that is able to fully engage a user in collecting a detailed family history. 1, because of its conversational AI, but 2, because of something we call one-click medical, which speeds up the amount of time it takes to answer a question by using high-resolution, very intuitive imagery connected with language. So we're engaging 3 senses at the same time: sight, sound, and touch. This is so quick that it can build an 80-person family tree in an average of 3+ minutes. Build the tree, and then we created a new way of illustrating disease risk, because there needs to be an end-to-end solution. What I've heard from the doctors is if they need to do any work, they're not interested, particularly if they can't get reimbursed. So we also figured out a way for them to get reimbursed. We filed the patent back in 2016. We believe this is relevant to many different shareholders within healthcare, and it's just not about family history. Doctors don't collect social determinants of health. They don't ask if you've ever been sexually abused, or you engage in too many sexual partners, it puts you at risk for STDs. They're not asking so many critical questions because they don't have time. A virtual agent can be patient, ask you the questions, interpret the answers, and give your doctor the information they need at the point of care so your doctor can improve your outcome. This is the future of medicine. Just genetic testing alone, just genetic risk assessment is a $4.5 billion addressable market, and it's a $1 billion serviceable market. The CDC, as I mentioned, reports that 500 million visits to primary care every year. A CBS poll shows that 54% of Americans say they have cancer in their family. We're talking about 160 million Americans have cancer in their family, and doctors are not collecting detailed family histories. In terms of marketing positioning, we've positioned ourselves in a unique part of the market. Why? Because we're not taking a shortcut. We are doing the perfect medical interview by combining the best of technology with the best of human qualities to make sure that we're collecting all the information, and then we're applying the evidence-based guidelines to ensure that we get the right answers. Accordingly, we've been approved for a study at Harvard. We're being supported by the National Cancer Institute right now to submit a grant. We're part of a tech runway, participating in the National Science Foundation program, and in major conversations with partners to try to facilitate this, because we genuinely believe there is a potential to save millions of American lives and tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people worldwide. And that's why we've also built modules for other clinical entities. We've translated into several languages, and we're building virtual agents of different races to get greater racial concordance between the user and the technology. We have a great, experienced, both healthcare, technology, etc. team, and this is us in summary. Thank you.